was going to tackle the messier parts of sex this week. Period sex, rimming, anal. But then I received a DM that stopped me in my tracks and gave me pause for thought. It was a DM about sex and shame. I'm paraphrasing here, but the sentiment of the message went a little like so. Do you have any advice for someone who's embarrassed about how many sexual partners they've had? I love having casual sex, but I'm embarrassed by the fact. And I thought, fuck. Period sex, rimming, anal. Address the basics, Daisy. Sex and shame. Let's get into it. Casual sex, brilliant. Committed sex, brilliant. As long as it's consensual, go fucking crazy. Unfortunately, if you don't have a dick and you do go fucking crazy, some primitive beings believe that that is ample reason to slut shame you. It's not, never will be, but like I said, they're primitive. As a result of that, that shame and stigma permeates and leaves a lasting imprint, as it has done for the woman who DM'd me. It's the year 2020 and women still feel shame around their sexual activity because it's the year 2020 and slut shaming is still a thing. Of all the things to still be a thing, why is this still a thing? Rainbow bagels, I can handle. This should not be a thing. It's the year 2020 and sexual assault survivors are still being slut shamed in court. It's the year 2020 and young girls' school uniform is being policed so as not to distract the boys. It's the year 2020 and men are still hopping on the internet to call women whores. Get a fucking hobby. Are you not tired? Are you not tired?
Bruh.
What is a slut? Right, thankfully, there are some official definitions of the word slut, and I'm going to reel a few of them off for you. Slut, noun, derogatory. A woman who has many sexual partners. A sexually promiscuous woman. A woman who dresses or behaves in a sexually overt manner. An unclean or slovenly woman. An impudent girl. What is the common theme there, class? Yeah, you at the back. Women, correct. Correct. You get a scratch and sniff sticker. Well done. Women, 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 women. I feel like Chaz and Dave. Rabbit, 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 rabbit. Women. It's women. It's gendered. Slut is a gendered term. It first cropped up in the 14th century, but the derogatory manner in which we use the term slut today was born of the sexual revolution of the 60s and 70s. Some really major things happened for women and sex in the 60s and 70s. In the mid-60s, there was a landmark case in the US regarding contraception, and then in the early 70s in the US also, there was a landmark Roe v. Wade case concerning abortion. So as a result of that, women had shitload more freedoms, more emancipation. They were able to have sex without the fear of pregnancy looming over them. Bear in mind though, this is only the 60s and 70s. This is not that long ago. Really not that long ago. Fucking bananas. I digress. So with those freedoms and with that emancipation came a shitload of pushback. Slut shaming grew wings and took the fuck off, and it has been soaring ever since. Why does it happen? What is it about? It's about exerting power over women. It's about control. It's about judgment. It's about attempting to diminish their shame by projecting it onto you. It's about a whole host of things that have nothing to do with you, the recipient of the slut shaming. Nothing to do with you. And it's not just men that do it. I mean, predominantly it's men, but women do it too. It's not smart, it's not funny, it's not cool. It's just us doing the dirty work for the menfolk and freeing them of yet another job. Like we don't shoulder so much shit already, do not take another task off their hands, for the love of God. What can you do about it? What can we do about it? This brings me to the advice I gave the wonderful woman who popped up in my DMs. Keep doing you. Have the sex you want, when you want, how you want. As long as it's consensual, like I said, go fucking crazy. By doing so, you're already taking steps to eradicate the stigma and the shame, because you're not allowing the stigma and the shame to dictate what you do and don't do with your own body. And yes, it is your body. It is not my body. It is not their body. It is your body. Do with it what the fuck you please. You don't have to justify your experiences. You don't have to explain them to anyone. And if you do come across someone who dares to judge you, then you can either be incredibly generous with your time and explain to them why their notions are prehistoric, Or you can just drop them out and not give them the privilege of your time, your mind, or your pussy for that matter. This is me waving a red flag. If you've got a prospective partner and slut, slag, whore are part of their everyday lexicon, they're part of their vernacular, they just like sprinkle them around what they say day to day, they use it to diminish women. No, don't go near them with a 10-foot barge pole. Please. The dick is not going to be worth it. I'm telling you, trust me. I know that sex and shame are like inextricably linked, and there are so many other factors that play into your personal relationship with sex and the judgments you may place on others and on yourself, whether that's familial, whether that's prior experience, whether that's religion. Like, there are so many factors that play into someone's relationship with sex, and it is not as black and white as just like, fuck what they think, do what you want. Like, there's a lot more grey area, there's much more nuance. But if you find yourself feeling how this woman did and wondering, what can I do to combat this? Like, I recognise that like I shouldn't feel this shame, but I do feel this shame. And how do I go about unravelling that and making it make sense? Well, you're doing it. By having sex or not having sex on your terms, you are doing it. You are not allowing that shame to dictate what you do and don't do. And that is already a phenomenal step you're making, truly. Slut shaming is insidious, and it is also like omnipresent. It has seeped through the layers of the earth and it's now bubbling away in the molten core. And as women, we've been programmed to behave in a certain way and to dress in a certain way and to act in a certain way, and know that if we don't do those things, then we open ourselves up to criticism and we open ourselves up to blame. And it's not an easy job dismantling all of that, but it's one that you're doing just by choosing not to let that shame guide you. I think you're fucking fantastic. Have all the sex you want, don't have any of the sex you don't want, and as per my previous video, make sure your clit is getting a lot of attention, because the orgasm gap is real, as is slut shaming, and we must eradicate them both.